Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Admiral Mullen, I want to thank you and the other witnesses for your service. I understand you didn't interview Secretary Clinton. Did you submit written questions to her for her response?
We did not.
Was Secretary Clinton aware of the attacks on Western targets in Benghazi leading up to September 11, 2012?
I believe our information.
I'm asking Admiral Mullen.
Was, yeah.
I'm asking Admiral Mullen.
I think she was.
She was aware of the attacks on Western targets. Was she aware that the British ambassador was almost assassinated in Benghazi in the weeks and months leading up to September 11, 2012?
I mean, I can't be positive, but I think she was.
Was she aware of the request for additional security at the Benghazi facility?
I would say no.
Was she aware of a specific request from the ambassador himself for improved security at that facility?
We never saw any request from Ambassador Stevens to.
That wasn't my question. Was she aware of it?
We never saw anything that indicated Ambassador Stevens asked for a significant upgrade at the facility.
Well, there's been testimony that he has. My question was she aware of that? Was the Secretary of State aware of it?
I don't know the answer to that.
All right. And here's what I found confounding about that. The 1998 ARB, you start your ARB with a quote from a Spanish-American philosopher about history, and those who don't study it are doomed to repeat it. Yeah. And I found that interesting because the 1998 ARB recommended this: the Secretary of State should personally review the security of embassies and other official premises, closing those which are highly vulnerable and threatened. The Secretary of State, that was the specific recommendation from history. So you can understand, with all due respect to my colleagues who don't want to mention the Secretary of State's name, you can understand my question: did she personally review the security at Benghazi?
I don't know that. Not all the evidence that we saw indicated no, but I don't know the answer to that.
Did she personally consider closing the facility in Benghazi? Again, given the fact that a panel exactly like the one you co-chaired recommended the Secretary of State personally review it. My question to you is, did she?
I'm not aware that she did.
So there is no evidence, despite a previous recommendation from an ARB just like yours, because what our colleagues on the other side say is, let's don't study the past, let's just look forward. You've made recommendations, all's going to be well now, all 30 of them will be implemented. And my point is, we had this recommendation. We had it in 1998, that the Secretary of State herself review the facilities and consider closing them if they are not safe.
I think one of the, and I think we have pulled people out where it wasn't safe over the course of that.
But my question, Admiral, is you never interviewed the Secretary of State about whether she accepted and performed a responsibility given to her by a previous accountability review board.
Part of our writ was to look at previous accountability review boards. We certainly commented on that, those that had not been implemented, but it was not to test each recommendation against those who were in positions in the current administration.
I want to read you a quote, and I want to ask you if you know the author of that quote, okay? The Independent Accountability Review Board is already hard at work looking at everything, not cherry-picking one story here or one document there, but looking at everything. Do you know who the author of that quote was? Secretary Clinton. How could you look at everything when you don't even bother to interview the person who is ultimately responsible for what happens at the State Department?
I think we've explained that we found no evidence that she was involved in the decision-making and no need, therefore, to do that.
But I just cited for you, it is her responsibility. According to an AR